I've been holding my tongue about this David situation for a minute, but I really feel like I've got to speak on this one. I am very, very upset by some of what I've seen on my timeline regarding David recently, and I'm honestly a little bit disappointed to see some of the messaging that's being put out because shout out to my guy, man. Shout out to my guy, Gideon. Okay, I've been a fan of Gideon for many years. We were talking maybe about me hopping on his platform to talk about the David case very soon. I hadn't had a chance to get onto his platform. I'd been busy. I had family visiting me. I've been visiting the United States, having my family come over and visit, and just it's been a lot going on. Okay, so I haven't had a chance to get on there, but I did see that Gideon's been having some of the biggest names involved with the David case on his platform, particularly SF Investigates Steve Fisher, somebody who I definitely think has done a really, really great job of keeping the public informed about the Celeste Rivas murder, as well as finding information that maybe the police didn't find, or maybe the public had deserved to know. But I really appreciate Steve, and I really enjoyed Steve's interview with Gideon. But this one, I'm not so sure. Because this interview went up on Gideon's channel a couple of days ago, or a day ago now, and I hadn't had a chance to check it out until yesterday. And, I saw Flocko did a video on it. I saw a few other people on Reddit talking about just how misguided this interview was, and just what a complete slimy scumbag this guy is here. Okay, I believe his name is Joma. Okay, and he is unfortunately joining the ranks of people who are essentially using the Celeste case to try and, improve their standing in the legal world. Now, I don't think there's anything wrong with covering this case. I don't think there's anything wrong with having experts on board, whether it's TMZ, Steve Fisher, Gideon, me. I think it's very important to do journalism, to spread the word, spread the message, fight for justice, keep Celeste's name alive, and document all of the horrific crimes committed by David, who is the true alleged perpetrator in this situation, and any kind of victim blaming or even just, hating on the reporters for trying to keep this story alive, I don't think is right. However, Joma, this guy is coming across very ghoulish because he has popped out, and you can just tell from his face how slimy he is and just how chuffed he is to be in this position. And he knows he's rage baiting people, but he is rage baiting and trying to go viral with rage bait, making a mockery of a dead little girl who was murdered. And it's despicable. I think Gideon shouldn't have platformed this clown, but it is his platform. It's up to him. But I just thought this was disgusting, to be honest, disgusting. So he basically popped on here to basically say David is innocent. Obviously, we know now from the evidence David is not innocent. No sane person would make that argument. But this guy is promoting his law firm. His whole thing is that he can get people off of any case, and he's going to brag about getting people off in cases where there is plenty of evidence to prove that they did the crime. Very, very unethical behavior as a lawyer. And this guy really just is a clown show. I mean, you can tell he's not a serious lawyer. Snap back on backwards, he's not even wearing a suit. So nobody in their right mind would take this man seriously as their lawyer. I don't really take him seriously as a human being or as a man, because of just how disgustingly he's going to be speaking about the murder of a dead little girl and how much he is going to be victim blaming Celeste and her family for what happened, and also just completely glazing David and calling David a victim in this situation. Disgusting. This guy's a clown. So anyway, I'm going to break it down to you, and I'm going to show you some of what he said. I don't condone any of what's said, and I don't think this guy should have been platformed whatsoever. So I'm only showing you this with the caveat to basically spread the word that this guy is a fool and a joke, basically. So he would basically be confronted with Gideon, on Gideon's stream, with key pieces of evidence, receipts, messages, photos, and he made it clear he would not concede any charges, and he thinks that he could get David off in this situation. It's all well and good chilling at home with no decor on the wall. This guy's not looking like his law firm's making too much money based on his background. But snap back on backwards, no suit, just a shirt, okay, dusty looking shirt. Yeah, I wouldn't trust this guy with a paperclip, let alone my legal case. But he believes, with his smug little look on his face, that he could get David off of these serious charges, even though we've seen all of this evidence to suggest that he is in fact a PDF, blood in his garage. It sounds like the allegations against him are true, in my opinion. But this clown, this ghoul, he thinks he can get David off. He's going to glaze David to the end of the earth. And I just think it's disgusting. So let's see.
How do you possibly think?
Look at his just snake grin. His absolute snake grin. Like, this guy is not to be trusted. And this is somebody who shouldn't be trusted. I'm not saying don't trust him with your legal case. Well, I am. Don't, because he's awful. But I would say that this guy, I wouldn't trust this guy you know, with my kids, wouldn't trust this guy with my pets. He's a snake, right? He's a snake. He's a snake oil salesman, metaphorically. And I just don't respect it at all.
Think that the defense is going to plead his innocence of not murdering her. Do you think they're going to concede and say, hey, he did have a sexual relationship with her? What do you think they're going to concede on? Or do you think they're going to try to fight everything full force?
I'll fight everything. I'm going to be one of those attorneys where I don't care what allegations that they
Notice, right? This guy's so self-obsessed. Gideon said, "Do you think that they'll concede any of these things?" And he said, "I'll fight. I'll take it." It's all about himself. This whole thing, him appearing on here, is all about himself. And unfortunately, Gideon should have known better than to give such a self-obsessed freak access to such a big platform.
they have against my client. I'm always going to fight it, no matter how bad shit gets. You know.
So you wouldn't even concede with because they have him on child.
He literally looks like a snake. Like his eyes, he's got demented, evil demon eyes. And, you know, his smile, it's just demented. This guy is an absolute ghoul. This guy would quite happily have David out here walking around and just being a threat to all of your children.
Child abuse, like having a sexual relationship with a minor. So you wouldn't even concede that point if you were his lawyer.
Oh, F no. I would not concede to that. I'm fighting everything.
Okay, how would you get him off of that?
Well, number one, having plead not guilty on this case. Demand any and all evidence that the prosecutors might have against them. The cops did their investigation. All it takes is for me to...
So you notice he's just recommending completely basic shit. He's not actually got any smart ideas. He hasn't actually got a really good legal defense or a really smart angle on this case. He doesn't even sound informed on this case. Doesn't even sound like he knows shit.
Find out, how did the cops get to that? What is the process that they got to it? And if they got to it illegally, that's when I can start doing my work. And I can start attacking everything that the cops got on them.
Start just attacking this dead little girl, you know, just start attacking the dead little girl and her family and just all the angles, just attacking this dead minor, man. Yeah, good.
Just one of those things where you just got to keep fighting no matter where it's at.
So you would try to discredit and get some of this evidence thrown out. What is the first bit of evidence out of all the things I said that the prosecutor has on?
So from here, basically, he goes on to say and sort of make his case for how he would approach this case. And, you know, he outlines his strategy. He basically starts with how he would challenge the motive and attempt to frame David as the victim. Disgusting.
First bit of evidence that you were wanting to attack.
Any relationship that he had that it's not sexual. Allegedly, they're saying that it's sexual, right? I'm going to attack that. And then I'm going to attack the motive that...
Here's how you can tell he's a shit lawyer, right? They're saying, how would you approach this? And he said, I would attack that. I would find out the info about him dating the minor and attack it. You don't know shit about this guy. Clearly doesn't know shit about this case. He's a clown. Why is he, Gideon? Why have you got this guy on your platform? He doesn't know shit. What, he would attack that? What would you attack? He doesn't know the evidence. Would you attack the messages where the minor is texting David saying all we do is just have sex and kick it? How are you going to attack? I would attack that. That's not how it works. You don't come to court and you say, well, how are you going to be facing this evidence? We're just going to attack it. We're just going to beat it up. We're just going to fucking... Doesn't mean shit. I don't believe this guy is even a licensed lawyer. But just by the way he's dressed and then the way he's talking, he has no idea. This is not someone you want to hire.
Prosecutors are trying to allege that he had.
So let me let you know about the motive. So the motive is they said that they have the text messages between where it seems that Celeste was jealous of David being in relationships with other women. And they said that Celeste texted him that she was going to destroy his career. And coincidentally, when she texted him that, it was about 2 or 3 days before his...
Notice he's adjusting his camera so that you can see his shitty screen-printed t-shirt with terrible bad border of his Jayoma law firm. Very unprofessional. Put a suit and tie on. Get a custom tie made. This guy is the last person you would want to trust getting you out of the slammer, okay? He's more concerned about showing off his $12 screen-printed t-shirt than he is actually about even having an understanding of this case, because he doesn't know anything about this case.
His album was supposed to be released, where they're saying that the motive was for financial gain to keep his career intact.
I mean, that sounds like a motive, but that's just the state's motive or the prosecutor's motive. Whatever motive they have, I'm going to attack that, because what I'm...
He's going to... What? He's going to attack it. Whatever they... he's going to attack it. Oh, what a great lawyer. Yeah, so how do we attack it? Oh, how do we approach all of the evidence that goes... Well, we're going to attack it. This guy doesn't know shit.
I'm going to be looking at is the girl probably has motive to make shit up. The girl probably has motive to utilize her position in his life to capitalize on somebody who's up and coming. We see that in Shannon Sharp, who was a victim. What was that girl that took a lot of money from him? You know, when people become...
I'm not going to lie. I'm disappointed in Gideon because he's sort of laughing about what's going on. He's sort of laughing about the disgusting bullshit this guy's spewing on his platform to 5.25 million people. And I don't think he took this seriously enough. Maybe he didn't know how stupid this guy is, how ill-informed and how much of a terrible source this would be to get onto your platform. I can only give him the benefit of the doubt, but I'm disappointed.
A public figure, just like you and I, athletes, singers, even actors, that it opens up an opportunity for them to like have a gun to their head to say, get me this Rolls Royce, get me this Rolex. If you don't get it to me, there's gonna be consequences. And you know what those consequences are gonna be. And so anybody can be put in that position, even you. And it's unfortunate that I believe David has to go through this at this point in his career, because he's up and coming. I do like some of his songs, but it's an opportunity. And when people do have an opportunity, they often get taken advantage of. So my job as a criminal defense attorney is to point that out, right? That, my client's the victim.
So you think
he has no proof? So he's saying all of that and he's discrediting this dead minor with no proof. He's saying, oh, well, she could have said, I need a Rolls Royce or I'm going to destroy you. Where's the evidence? There's no evidence of that. You're talking shit. It is not true. It's not a thing. You're a liar. You're literally crafting a narrative that doesn't exist. So there's that. All right. And so as he would basically go on, he would acknowledge that the situation looks bad, like at the very, very, very least, like the scraping the bottom of the barrel bare minimum. But he would double down and he would basically say he would be willing to fight and present David as a victim in this case. The reframing of David as a victim when a 14-year-old child was brutally groomed and murdered, I don't know. I just feel like there's a special place in hell for people that seem to think that this is an acceptable way to talk about a dead child.
And right now, in regards to David, shit's looking bad, okay? And it's always going to look bad in the beginning. But I'm always going to be able to try to fight and show, like, the truth, which is he's a victim here.
Okay, you're going to try to paint it as...
Can you believe that? Can you believe that grin that he just put across his face? Because I'm going to fight that David is the victim here. He's not saying hypothetically, this is hypothetical, this is devil's advocate. This is me trying to show my skills as a lawyer to fight for somebody to defend the indefensible. He's rocking with David.
Okay, you're going to try to paint it as him being the victim. Let's go with that. How are you going to convince a jury that a man who is sending explicit photos of himself and receiving explicit photos, because Celeste isn't the only minor. He was also talking to other minors who have started to come forward.
So I respect Gideon for asking these questions. I just wish Gideon had been more well informed about how badly intentioned this man was coming onto his stream. And I wish Gideon maybe had some foresight into just how disgusting and disrespectful it is to have somebody who is calling David a victim of a dead 14-year-old minor as the perpetrator. He's asking him the tough questions, but it's like, this interview shouldn't have even got to 10 minutes because you should have said, oh, you don't know anything about this case. You're just a ghoul, laughing and smirking when we're talking about the murder of a 14-year-old. So, yeah, this shouldn't have ever happened, but he's asking him the tough questions. But as you're going to see, he's going to, well, of course, he's going to attack. He's going to attack the dead minor, He's going to attack the evidence. He's going to attack the dead minor. He's going to, it's really not convincing, and it is actually making my blood boil.
So How are you going to spin this as him being the victim of all these minors coming to him and him not wanting any part of this?
See, look at him smiling. He's like, yes, this is going to be so controversial. I'm going to push everyone's buttons. I'm going to say he's the victim of all of these minors. Gideon is somebody that is a predator catcher online. How on earth do you have a predator defender even in your presence? This is so out of character. I was shocked, honestly, when I started to see what type of stuff. Gideon's the predator catcher, and you've got the predator defender here. You've basically just broadcast all the predators that you catch in future. You've basically given them the sweet get out of jail free card. You got the legal aid on deck for the predators. What the hell are we doing?
Well, I'm not going to spin anything. What I'm going to do is show the truth, okay? And that truth is that...
See, you shouldn't be laughing. Like, this isn't funny. If I spoke to this guy, and I would never platform this clown, but if I was speaking to this guy, I would shut it down and say, this is not funny. Okay, this is not a joke, right? And look, sometimes when you talk about these things, yes, look, this is a very, very serious topic, all right? And sometimes in life, you know, you need a break from being serious. This isn't gallows humor. This isn't the type of humor, you know, I remember when I studied World War II in the concentration camps, you know, a lot of the people who were persecuted and sent to concentration camps, all they had was their humor. They tried to, you know, lift each other's spirits and make light of the situation. This isn't that, okay? This is not that. This is somebody that he is getting off on rage baiting the audience into defending PDFs. And to do it on the platform of a person who is a PDF catcher, I think Gideon's a great, well-intentioned person. I think maybe he got finessed or he got put in the room with the wrong person here, and it's just really unfortunate.
No matter what age, anybody is susceptible, or anybody can be an aggressor, right?
No, not true, and that's why statutory R word is a thing. She can't consent, let alone be an aggressor, all right? She cannot consent to any of the shit that happened to her. It's a non-starter. This guy doesn't know the law.
You can be 9 years old, and if you find out there's a lick out there that you can take advantage of and you can get free stuff out of him and you can threaten him, then you do it. And it's a normal thing that humans do whenever.
This guy's got such a skewed view of the human psychology because he is shameless and lacks any morals, right? He's out for himself. He's got his t-shirt on to promote his company with his snap Mitchell and Ness backwards. But he doesn't care. All he cares about is himself, his own profile, his own money. He doesn't care about desecrating the memory of dead miners and telling a judge that the children, the underage children that can't consent to anything, are the aggressors. It's disgusting, and it's just like, bro, these legal strategies will get you sent straight to the needle.
I see an opportunity to see it, and there is an opportunity when it comes to David. Shit, I don't even know David personally, and I can see David, you know, as a walking lick right now. He has YouTube videos, he has music, he obviously has money. Anybody in that position would say, you know what, let's do something to this guy.
You know what's happened? This guy's got in touch with Gideon, and he said, this guy's a walking lick. I'm going to get on his platform. I'm going to run it up for my shitty law firm. This guy, this is how he thinks. He thinks about things in terms of this is a lick. I see David as a lick. I see everyone as a lick. I see these miners as just stepping stones for me to get my legal career off the ground. I'm getting mad, man. I might have to go hit the punch bag.
Let's make some shit up so we can get what we want.
Look at his face, bro. This guy's disgusting. Make some shit up so we can get what we want. That's what he's doing. Let's make some shit up and victimize these miners to get what we want. Legal case, promo.
About him ordering the Uber to his house, her being there, all of that. What's the play there?
Is that illegal?
See his face there. He was like, oh, shit, I didn't know that. He doesn't know anything about this case.
Her being there, all of that.
Ooh, that's bad. Ooh, shit. Ooh, how can I spin that? He doesn't even know the case well enough.
What's the play there?
Is that illegal to order an Uber for somebody? I don't see that.
This guy sucks, man. Is it illegal? Is it illegal to have a knife and move it through the air forwards? That's not illegal. It just so happened the miner just got in the way. Like, what the fuck are we talking about here? Is it illegal to order an Uber? Yeah, it's illegal to order someone in an Uber and stab them to death. Yeah. Yes.
It's illegal to like order an Uber for a child? I don't see that in the criminal
and kill them. Yes.
Code anywhere.
He's not been charged with ordering an Uber. He's not been charged with 2 counts of ordering Ubers. If you could be charged with 2 counts of ordering Ubers, I'm getting the death penalty too. Love getting Ubers. Uber Black all the way, man. If I can afford it, if I'm feeling fancy, it's Uber Black. Maybe an Uber Comfort if I'm down bad. This guy has no idea. So he would also question the physical evidence tied to the case despite having a very shallow knowledge of it too.
Uber, she's never seen again. And she's found in his Tesla. So what is the play? So
look at him thinking he's just working. You know that meme where there's all the math coming up? He's he's had 7 months to think about this.
Hey, what state was this in?
California.
In LA?
Yeah.
You know LA is a dangerous place? It is dangerous. It is. Look, ladies and gentlemen, Los Angeles is a dangerous place.
Look at him leaning up to get his shitty pen and pixel style law firm t-shirt in there, man. Could you imagine hiring these guys as your lawyers on a murder?
There's gangs everywhere. There's people to extort you everywhere.
Oh, so there's gangs in LA. Oh, okay. Like there's not gangs in every single city in the entire world. Oh, there's gangs. So you ordered her an Uber to your house and she landed and the Bloods got her. The Crips got her right on the doorstep and put her in the car and put her in the house and cut her up in the house. This guy's a moron.
Body or whatever has happened to her could have been done by somebody else other than David himself. It's just that because of the relationship, the friendship that they have, everybody's honing in on it. It's unfortunate for David. Anything could
For this guy to be describing a adult relationship with a minor as a friendship
have happened to her. There are random people who get, pulled up on any day in LA.
Could you imagine saying that to a judge in the face of all the evidence? Could have been a random gang, bro. It's the Bloods, bro. It's the Bloods. We need to find out what the Bloods have to do with this situation. It is laughable. Okay. So at another point in the interview, he would address how he would defend against the plastic inflatable pool material that was literally found inside Celeste's wounds, and they're saying that the cops might actually have the plastic inflatable pool. Let's hear how he defended that one.
The fragments from the blue inflatable pool that David bought match the fragments found on her body.
That could be anybody. Because think about it.
Oh, that could be anybody. Just think about it. This guy hasn't thought about anything.
Not only is David a potential victim for any of the young girls, but he could be a potential victim for anybody ancillary to that, right? So say, for example, he disrespected an up-and-coming rapper. They're going to want to put this murder on him, right?
So he did, yeah. So there's no proof, there's no evidence of him disrespecting any up-and-coming rappers. I don't like how Gideon's smiling about this. There's no proof. No proof. So what he's saying, oh, he disrespected an up-and-coming rapper, so the rapper hacked into his Uber and ordered an Uber to the house, and then the rapper broke into the house and lied in wait inside the house without David knowing and took her into the garage and killed her and chopped her up in a plastic pool that was ordered to David's house separately on Amazon. And this person hid in the closet for a week and a half while David went on tour and came back.
All right, so let the prosecutors attack him instead of them attacking him personally. Because if you think about it, that is actually a good strategy. If I want to get after David because he disrespected me, because he didn't buy me my soda, or he didn't get me a cheeseburger that I asked.
Look at him smiling. So this clown is really saying someone felt disrespected because David didn't get them a cheeseburger, so they snuck into his house and lied and waited there for 2 weeks and committed the whole murder under David's nose without him knowing.
He just looked at me wrong, or he said my song sucks because I sang for him. I'm gonna say, all right, I'm gonna get this dude. I'm gonna put his DNA. I'm gonna set some shit up. I'm gonna
put his DNA. I'm gonna set some shit up. So you're gonna put some DNA. You're gonna get his DNA without him knowing. You're gonna order the girl from her house in Lake Elsinore in an Uber to David's house. It's so stupid. I'm not even going to go along with this nonsense.
That dead body and I'm playing on him. So then, therefore, they can put all the state's power, all the prosecutor's power into trying to put him away. It's like you're getting somebody else to do your dirty work for you, and that's a good possibility that could have happened to David. So that's what I think that could be a possibility for David as well.
No, it's not. No, it's not. It's not. It's just not. That's just not a thing. So on top of that, he would also speak on how he would approach the explicit photos and videos presented as evidence. This is a doozy.
Or he could just be a fan. I'm a fan of you, Gina.
So what about the explicit photos to go along with all that are sent between
I want to see those explicit photos. I want to see, like, as being an attorney, I'll be able.
Gideon, you know how you do those pred catches? Please tell me this is one of those. Please tell me you're playing the long game and you're going to catch this guy as a predator. Because he just said the illegal videos and photos. He said, I need to see them. Gideon, have a word.
To go along with all that are sent between
I want to see those explicit photos. I want to see
those explicit photos. Do I need to say more? It's disgusting.
Like, as being an attorney, I'll be able to see all that.
Being an attorney, I need to. Maybe that's why he wants to take the David case.
So I want to see how explicit are those photos. Are they really, my client? Are they really going towards and relevant to the charges that David has? So
are they relevant to the charges? The charges that he's engaged in a relations with a minor, and he's got illegal videos of the minor and himself on the phone. Yeah, this is the evidence. What are you actually suggesting we do here, rather than you just kick back and look at these illegal videos?
That's my job. I look at
that's my job. I look at everything,
every piece of evidence that the government has, and I look at them like literally like splitting hairs, and I say,
this guy's a creep.
Where did this come from? How did this arrive? How did you guys get this evidence? Can y'all even use it in court?
They said that they have 40 terabytes of evidence against him, and they said they found a significant amount of CSAM, and the prosecutors were voicing that very loudly, and even his brother.
So yeah, he I'm getting so angry. I actually didn't want to talk about this, but I was like, you know what, I'm going to have to, because we got to lay down the law. Okay. So later on, he would break down as what he sees as the strengths and weaknesses in the case overall. He doesn't really know much.
The advantages that he could have is hiring me. The disadvantages is not hiring me. Because
this guy's so self-obsessed. And again, Gideon, like, this guy doesn't deserve jokes, laughs. Like, it's like, I'd just be looking at this guy like, for real? That's really, the self-promotion is just like off the scale. And it shouldn't be allowed.
Yeah, it's just one of those things where I really want to attack this case. I see that he's a victim of this girl or society. He's a victim of the public. And, you know, I need to do whatever I can to show that he's not this monster that the prosecutors are painting him as.
See, I feel like Gideon's smarter than this, and this guy's being disingenuous. Like, we can see through it like that. I don't know if Gideon is, unfortunately, suspending his good sense that we know he has for the sake of this being an entertaining piece of content, but it's no good. Like, this guy shouldn't even be in a position to broadcast these disgusting, ill-informed views to 400,000 people.
I was listening to the song 3 times this morning. Like, it's a great song.
Bro, he's talking about like murdering people in his song.
It's art, just like 50 Cent, Jay-Z. It's all art. And I'm a fan of his art. But he's a... Okay,
besides you, what is in the van?
Look at this twerp, man. He's loving this. He's getting off on this. He's like, yeah, I'm gonna piss off the people with this one. But you don't realize the people you're pissing off are people that just want justice for a dead little girl that was brutally murdered. You know, and just with that face, bruh.
Advantage and disadvantage that is in this case that you see, besides you.
The advantage is that it looks like this was done in California, which is a crime, or not California, but LA, right? It's a high crime area. And there's other reasons that cause.
So if it's a high crime area, you can just murder minors. It's cool. The blood's probably
dead. The death of this girl, other than him. That's why I see an advantage of, and she's motivated, to go after him. The other thing, the disadvantages that I see in this case is that he never called me. If he would have called me, or
the self-obsession, the self-absorption with this guy is just, I wouldn't trust this guy with a paper.
Or his family would have reached out to me, I'll take that case. David, if you're listening, I'll take your case for free.
Bro!
If you reach out to my office, Giacomo Law Firm, I will take your case for free. Don't forget that, and it's recorded.
Okay, what?
Well, there's a reason this guy will take your case for free, because he fucking sucks, right? He'll take your case for free. He sucks. So he would even go into how jury selection could affect the outcome. He's really clutching at straws at this point.
There is no way when the jury looks at that evidence, they're not going to come to the same conclusion as us. There's no way.
You say that. And I agree with you. But the people in this jury, they have their own motives too. They've been hurt before. They've been through life. They have their own likes and dislikes. And you can't control that. God only controls that. And the only thing I can control is to see it during jury selection, to make sure that those people who hate my client for whatever reason cannot be there. They can't. And I'm going to fight whatever I can just to keep them off that and make sure that the people who are chosen are going to be somebody who is open to listen to all the evidence as they actually look at it.
So with all of this evidence stacking against David, there's no way you're going to try to get the best plea deal for him.
Fuck that. I'm not playing to shit. I don't play that plea game. I don't play that. Any prosecutor, any attorney who knows me, I don't play that, hey, please, have mercy on this guy. No, we're fighting this. You understand me? We're fighting this from the beginning to the end. There is no surrender here. And that's how I always attack my cases. And that's why I get the results that I get. Because I don't play games.
No plea deal. It's either we win or we die on the sword.
My client.
So he's cooked. All right. David's cooked. This guy wouldn't be able to help him if he tried. This guy, I wish this guy was David's lawyer, because it would go even worse for him. Okay. Now, people have been reacting to this on Reddit, and everybody's very, very upset. And I'm disappointed too. So this is David Idiot's subreddit. They're saying, Joma referring to David as a victim of Celeste. He's one of the most popular defense attorneys in Texas. His last client shot another person 3 times on camera, and he came out with 5 years probation. He's not to be played with. I try not to get easily rage baited, but I'm watching Judy on stream, and Joma said he believed David was a victim of Celeste being a fan of David. At first, I thought it was a hypothetical for if he was David's defense, but then he went on and said he truly believes David was innocent. She was 11 when they met. How on earth can she victimize a whole 18-year-old? Says he sounds like a moron if he thinks there's any angle that David was the victim of this. Says he's banking on shitty people like him in one of the juries. People who blame victims exist more than you think. Usually they come from a toxic masculinity background where they blame women for sexual misdemeanors done by men. So many mothers in my country advise their daughters from young not to wear shorts when male relatives visit because you shouldn't show that much skin to male relatives lest they get aroused. Sick, but that's the reality in a lot of places. It says, shows a disgusting person became a lawyer. Only thing happening with his reversing who is the actual victim will bring him hate. He wants to unleash a PDF murderer back on the streets and is shaming the victim. In this man's world, money and fame seem to make his mentality the same as David's. What's even worse is that most of the comments on the video are all saying that it's his job and you can't blame him, and they're treating this like some kind of morally ambiguous situation. I don't care if it's legal or not, or if that's his job. It's effing disgusting helping criminals, even if it's his job. Not to mention he allegedly helped many other criminals in winning cases. So everybody thinks he's disgusting. So that's like saying a baby held up with a bank with a gun and stole millions of dollars. It says, how is David a victim of Celeste? Even though her classmates blackmailed him, supposedly for money, David was old enough to do and know better. Okay. Why is my phone going? Which is a bit annoying. Okay. So it says, David is about to hire Jose Baez at this point and run with the Victoria Mendez as a version of Zanny the Nanny. It's getting crazy. It says, people have been blaming women and girls for crimes committed against us for centuries. I'm disgusted, but fairly confident in that case that it won't work in David's favor. It says, that man is an idiot if he thinks he can convince anyone that an 11-year-old was the perpetrator. We need to stop referring to David giving money as blackmail. He gave them hush money. Big difference. It says, I know damn well he doesn't actually believe that, but people will do and say anything for money. What a disgusting narrative. I hope his family is ashamed of him, and I hope he doesn't have any young daughters watching him defend this psychopath for money. It says that's exactly what it is. He's doing it for shock value, to get clicks and attention, which in turn will help people remember his name whenever they need a lawyer. It's horrific and unprofessional, but hell, it's working. We're sitting here talking about him. It says by doing this, he gains attention, and by showing how he's able to flip the narrative, he might attract clients who need exactly that. That doesn't change the fact that it really doesn't sit right with me to make this kind of statement when there are people already trying to pull all the blame on the actual victim. Let's see what the comments were saying on this, because
It's David.
I want to see the likelihood of that. They're saying Gideon is the reason why Batman fights the same bad guys. Joma is the dude who argued himself out of any situation as a kid and turned it into a career. A lawyer's job is not to take sides, it's to defend. It is what it is. It says bro got caught shooting someone 3 times on camera and his lawyer got him probation. At this point, Jay isn't a lawyer, he's a magician, and Gideon liked that one. What are we doing? Real life Saul Goodman. I don't know if that's a positive one. It says you all claim to realize he's a lawyer, yet you still don't know what a defense lawyer does. Pray I never got to face this dude in court. This guy sucks, man. Gideon's liking it. So bro, I had to cut bait and bail on this stream, dude. Like I said, Jay's the exactly the kind of lawyer you hate, straight up hate, until you need him to defend you. Right? He was rage baiting the whole time. Gideon liked that. Right? He's liking the rage bait, man. What the hell? He says, I understand he's a lawyer, but this interview with him sounds so disgusting. He says, I 100% agree, but if you think this is bad, it'll be 100 times worse during the trial, sadly. I'm not sure about that. I don't think they're going to be trying to victimize Celeste. I think even Blair Burke, Harvey Weinstein Avenger, I think even she wouldn't stoop to these levels, okay? So from here, okay, we saw some of Joma's alleged criminal trials actually go viral, and he really defends the worst of the worst. I'm going to show you a very, very dark case, and just it's unthinkable to think this is what this guy's out here defending. So I'm going to show you this. I don't want to show you anything too effed up, but it says a lawyer named Joma is going viral on TikTok for helping criminals, wife beaters, and PDFs get their cases dismissed.
What are you charged with?
Indecency of a child and sexual contact.
All right, and how much prison time are you looking at?
20 years.
And
look at him smiling, bro. It's disgusting.
were you facing to be put on a sex offender registry list?
Yes, I was.
And what did they accuse you of doing?
So it's actually so messed up. I can't even play you, but I'll summarize it. So he inappropriately touched a minor in 2 places you absolutely should not touch. Let's just leave it at that, okay?
And so you're probably wondering why I called you, right?
Yeah.
So I just want you to read this. All right. So what does that say?
Dismissed.
All right, so I got your case dismissed.
Wow, that's crazy.
All right, so you don't have to be on the sex offender registry list anymore.
Look how happy this guy is.
At all, right? And you avoided 20 years prison time.
Yeah.
All right, are you happy?
How on earth is Gideon the Predator Catcher promoting this guy on his platform?
Yeah, most definitely.
All right. Is there anything else you want to add?
One of the greatest lawyers in Houston that I know of, most definitely. He got straight to it. I've waited a while for this, and yeah, I'd refer him out to anybody.
I'm so disappointed at seeing that. I'm actually gonna. I don't know if he's seen this. I'm actually gonna send that to Gideon right now. I'm gonna send that to him and just say, look, man, have you seen this? I'm just really disappointed to see this guy getting a platform. All right, look. So I just sent that clip to Gideon. I don't know if he's seen that before, okay? But I feel like it's my duty to just kind of keep it real about this, okay? That in context of everything we saw in that interview and then that clip just there, I think it's just really just not cool, okay? It says all of his stuff is basic legal work. It's hard to get evidence for a lot of crimes, and it's not exactly hard to point that out to the prosecution and get them to drop the case. The prosecution typically relies on browbeating the accused before they get a lawyer, or that the overworked public defender they're stuck will give up and plead out. However, his repulsive satisfaction at getting cases dismissed is kind of reprehensible. Yeah, kinda, okay? So did the lawyer just leave his high school prom? What the F is he wearing? That he definitely, man. So it says his entire TikTok is full of clients like this. This one was charged with touching a 4-year-old. This one was caught with exposing himself to a woman. Okay, I'm gonna be careful. I hope I don't show anything I'm not supposed to show you here, but look at him smiling, man.
And why am I the best?
Because he made my case go away.
And what were you charged with?
Aggravated sexual assault under a kid.
Of a child, right?
Of a child.
And how old was the child?
4.
And did you do any type of jail time?
No, I didn't.
And are you happy with the results?
Yes, I am.
And is there anything else you want to add?
Oh, he's the best lawyer because he fights for what's right, and he knows every single step that he takes is going to lead to somewhere else where he gets to be a better lawyer and knows his right step to be, like, to fight for what's right, for your sake. And he's not gonna give up like any other lawyer. He fights for what's right.
All right.
So he'll fight, all right? He won't give up. Doesn't matter how bad the charges are. He will fight, okay? So people saying the contrarian view is everyone deserves high-quality legal representation. It says, of course, doesn't mean you take the weird satisfaction that he does. It says, I've been obsessed with his videos and the parodies. Looks like they removed it, but his law firm had Saul Goodman's office as the picture of for a bit on Google. He also had many fake reviews with exaggerated crimes. I think he took control of his business on Google and started deleting and reporting fake reviews. I did see one that was left. It says, got me off my 5 counts of vehicular manslaughter case. Great lawyer. That's crazy. Okay. Ugh. So, interestingly enough, okay, apparently his Trustpilot reviews seem to be mainly based up of a loyal fan base of trolls. Okay, so this is his law firm on Trustpilot, okay? And they're apparently loving him on there, right? Some of these are crazy, right? I was charged with 23 murders in the first degree, and I got caught with 2 switches and a mini micro Draco that came back to 4 shootings. I was facing life with 4 sentences, but Joe got me right, man. Tap in. I allegedly walked into his office facing a concerning list of allegations, what some might call mildly concerning: 5 counts of vehicular manslaughter, 4 counts of attempted terrorism, 10 counts of first-degree murder, 2 counts of second-degree murder, and something about a mass massacre shooting. Not their words, not mine. Anyway, my lawyer Joma didn't even blink, and while I was stress-eating vending machine snacks and reconsidering every life decision since kindergarten, he was out here turning legal chaos into a masterclass. Paperwork appearing out of nowhere, video proof, 2 terabytes of evidence, calls, phone records, the works. At one point, I'm pretty sure the judge started taking their side just out of respect. Long story short, I allegedly did some crazy stuff, and Joe was the greatest lawyer, got it all dismissed. Would do it again if he defended me again. Hopefully I won't need to. Now, it's all well and good. This is a fun little joke. I was accused of being the Bay Harbor Butcher, and they were right. But Joe got me right. All I got was 2 minutes of jail time. Said he got my case dismissed with 5 videos of proof and text messages. Yeah, pretty awesome. I was charged with kidnapping, arson, murder, second and third degree murder, theft, and the big one, blowing up an orphanage, of course, is all alleged according to Joma. Wink, wink. Now, it's funny, right? Because they're all making jokes about all murders, allegedly killed a family of 10 in a car crash. I allegedly ran over their newborn baby on purpose. I was looking at 25 life and still I got 1 month for speeding. I allegedly beat my best friend very brutally. But it's funny because all these little joke ones, all right, mostly they're about murders. It says, J. Omar got all charges dropped. I allegedly committed war crimes, bombed Iran, allegedly got an R charge for R-ing an entire kindergarten. I finally allegedly committed an arson on a nursing home. Said, I allegedly had a private island called Epstein Island and R-worded a bunch of little girls, but J. Omar got me dismissed. Said, I allegedly M-worded and brutally R-worded 3 stubborn but rabid raccoons. Chat said I stole 80 billion kids and killed 40 people, but you saved my life. You get the gist, okay? So over the years, multiple Reddit threads have actually questioned his credibility and background. This isn't me. This is other people's opinions on Reddit. I'm not saying it. People saying, is J. Omar law firm legit? I be seeing this guy freeing the worst people who really be getting 100 years in jail and look guilty as hell. Is this guy's claim real? People saying, must be legit, had 300,000 followers and is following no one. So if you're curious about the follower count being legit, look at the like count on their post. He has 20 to 50 likes per post, less than me, and I have 500 followers. So what are you talking about? He has millions of views, hundreds of views. Hang on. So people are saying, oh, he definitely is. The State Bar of Texas has all the information, including bar and card number and the eligible status to practice in Texas. So he can practice. They're licensed, all right? Saying Google him and look at the reviews. Some people are saying seems fake. The video is a satire, but he's a real-life lawyer. So don't believe everything you see on the internet. He's a fraud lawyer paying actors so he can get more recognition. I wouldn't be surprised if he collaborated with YouTubers and Twitch streamers to gain more clout. Well, that comment was 2 years ago, and now, now look, it's coming full circle, okay? But some people are saying he's not fraud. It's all true, right? Saying Trump should have called him, all types of stuff, right? Says, no way, this is insane. But a lot of people have been debating him on Reddit for some years now. J. Omar Law. Does anyone else know about the lawyer named J. Omar on TikTok? He's a Filipino defense attorney that recently has got notoriety and even had an interview with Aiden Ross. I didn't see that one. He's become notorious for his TikToks that he does with his clients after he gets their cases dismissed, where they explain what they were charged with and accused. Many of these clients are often accused of very heinous crimes, SA, PDFs, assault, and there's this sort of comic book villain anti-hero aura around him. What do you guys think? Is this good AM rep or bad AM rep? This is in the Asian masculinity subreddit. It says, I think defense attorneys have bad reps anyway, so I think people equate him with being another slimy lawyer first rather than being a bad Asian. But hey, I'm not in a position to comment on that. So I would view this on the positive side. He's also getting comments about his attractiveness and aura. I was impressed how he carried himself in the live and clapped back at racist jokes that Aiden was saying. People are more impressed with his professional skills rather than releasing these supervillains jokes. So I believe this is the Aiden Ross interview, right?
Hey, what's up?
So yeah, the context is much worse than the Gideon one. It says, watch and listen to the whole interview. He's a good guy that wants to protect the vulnerable from scummy law by giving them a fair trial. He used to be a nurse that was subjected to bad treatments. A doctor disrespected him by throwing down a stack of paper in front of him and told him to pick it up. He decided he had enough and went to law school. And he said, no one will respect you unless you can protect yourself. He always wanted to be a prosecuting attorney during law school and after law school, witnessing a case where a prosecutor withheld crucial evidence of recordings of the accuser admitting to making up the story, which led to the defendant getting some 20 years in prison. Fortunately, the evidence eventually did come out and the verdict was overturned. He realized prosecutors will do anything to put defendants in prison, and this could happen to anyone, which ultimately made him to decide to dedicate his time to being a defense attorney to protect people of being accused of heinous crime. Sure, he's a good guy, but getting people who do bad crimes off the hook isn't protecting the vulnerable from scummy law. Okay, whole lot of word salad to defend the indefensible, I would say. So yeah, there's been some speculation on what David's actual professional lawyers might be doing in the case. So I'll wrap this video up by giving you some of that info. It says, defense lawyers of David. Just with this situation, I think about the defendants in court. Like, you can so clearly see he's done it. Despite defending him, you know inside he has. I doubt, hopefully will not, that he will be set free, but the fact that your defense of him could lead to a sick, twisted monster being free and roaming around fine after doing this is wild to me. Your decisions as a defense attorney determine real futures of someone horrible, and it's just wild that someone would even want to partake in any possibility that someone so evil and horrible within the world would not be held accountable for the very evident alleged actions. I know it's their job, but I just wanted to share. It says, I'm hoping they're just there to take all of his monies via legal fees and dip. So think of it this way, I'll keep it very brief. There's a very real reason that people have the constitutional right to an attorney, defend them against any and all charges, because otherwise it would just be mob rule. Hypothetically, let's say a person is actually completely innocent, but society at large looked at them and said clearly he did it. Well, we'd have a shit ton of more innocent people dead or in jail, because mob rule logic mob rule doesn't use logic, they use emotion. Even if the entire world looks down on you and says you did it, I know it, let's just kill him. Again, let's say you're actually innocent and you still have the right to protection from that mob and have someone fight for your side just in case. We all deserve that right, which is why they say innocent until proven guilty under the law. Again, trying to keep the response brief, but it's a very deep and rich topic, which is why it's one of the few rights that we actually have. Without that, society falls apart and becomes majority mob rule. Okay, it says, I do see what you mean 100%. Just imagine, though, hypothetically, in 20 years, a whole load of new evidence is found, technology has changed, and they get to the conclusion David didn't actually do it. Hypothetically, in this case, because I can't see how his goose ain't cooked. All it takes is a little sentence like that. When you're doing a devil's advocate defense of David as a lawyer, all it takes is like one line of sensitivity, and you can just avoid everyone hating your guts. But anyway, he didn't do that. It says, well, now all of a sudden everyone's backtracking because you've destroyed a life without reason. I think it's fair that everyone's entitled to a defense to hopefully avoid wrongful conviction, but just imagine the amount of people who are in jail currently for a crime they didn't commit, all because they didn't have a defense in court, and this is hypothetical. Let's not forget. Okay, yeah, basically, you get the gist, all right? You get the gist. I don't need to read all of that. But so just to give you a final update on what's allegedly going to happen next with David's case, people are asking what's going on, what isn't. There's so much misinfo. People saying his lawyers are going to get him out. What's going on with Neo? Someone said he posted about it recently, but I couldn't find it. What reliable sources are there? People are wondering what's going on. Okay, people saying stay off of TikTok. That's not how you work it out. It says we're at the pre-trial phase. All that's been brought forth is charges and an outline of why the prosecution made those charges and statements, implying they have evidence to back that up. There will be many more hearings before the trial. The defense will attempt to discredit and get as much evidence possible to be inadmissible. If they're successful, it could theoretically result in lesser charges or reasonable doubt if they're able to poke enough holes in the prosecution's case. Well, I don't think they will be able to because the evidence looks extremely sufficient. Okay. So it says if the defense requests a speedy trial, it could be months away. If not, then years. When the evidence is substantial, there seems to be a tendency by defendants to drag things out for years. His lawyers claim to have proof of his innocence, yet push the preliminary hearing back. It's almost like they don't have independent and immutable proof. Rather, they need time to craft their lies around what the prosecution presented. I also wouldn't be surprised if a PR firm has been engaged to sway all of the narrative in media. Okay, so that's where we're at. Okay, now, no disrespect to Gideon, right? I think he does a really great job at what he does. But I think having this particular person come out here and victimize Celeste is just a complete disservice to all of the facts that anybody that's been following this case properly for the 7 months since the remains of Celeste was found in that car. It's abhorrent to anybody that actually follows the facts of this case to see these baseless theories and victim blaming being thrown around. So I really don't like it. But that's my thoughts. I didn't actually want to react to this, but then I thought, you know what? I think it's only right. Okay. And I get a lot of backlash too for covering this, and Ross has made too many videos about this situation. But you know, I think it's important to keep the story alive. I kept the story alive during a period when a lot of people stopped talking about it. There was a period of time where David would have loved everyone to stop talking about this. David's defense was trying to change the narrative in the media, and, you know, they were running PR plays, and I was one of the few people standing up saying, I think he did it, in my opinion, all of this time, and I think they're going to get him. And so I don't think there's anything wrong with that. I feel like I'm approaching this sensitively in the right way. People are talking about this nonstop all day, every day on Reddit, YouTube, TikTok, Instagram, X. So I just so happen to be one of those people. And I don't think there's anything wrong with what I'm doing. I'll always defend myself. And, you know, if I say the wrong thing, I'll throw my hands up and say it wasn't right. But at the same time, I don't think there's anything wrong with covering this. I don't think there's anything wrong with Gideon covering it. I don't think there's anything wrong with that awful lawyer giving his opinion on the case. But I do think that really he was rage baiting and basically playing games with a murdered 14-year-old little girl and her legacy and her memory to promote himself and, you know, show off his T-shirt and to try and make money for his law firm, which I don't think's right. You know, a lot of people say, oh, Ross, you're dropping videos, you're trying to make money off of this. I'm making money off quality journalism. I'm making money off the fact that, you know, I get up every day, I do my research. Oh, you're just reading stuff on Reddit. And that's not true. You saw all of the deep dives that I did on all different types of evidence. I read all the legal paperwork. Yes, I do look at the comments on Reddit because I'm summarizing what everybody has said. And I think that, you know, I don't think there's anything wrong with that. I work really hard. And I think this case is important. And I talk about all types of other different things, but people don't want to talk about that. But anyway, this isn't about me, all right? That's it. Not feeling the guy. I think he's a clown and don't want to hear from him again, quite frankly. So that's it. See you in the next video.